Yo people, welcome back to All You Can Eat Chelsea with the cast and crew back here again, and I must say it is a joy to wake up on a Monday morning and see all these beautiful faces in front of me and see my brothers shining, shining because we've come off the back of a win. It was close though, and I will say if we had dropped points, I don't know what type of episode this would have been, so we're lucky. But let's get straight into it. Younes, brother, talk to me. How are you feeling this morning? Well, my morning anyway.
Yeah, my lunchtime. I'm great. I'm great, man. Good to see you and everyone here. And yeah, bro, I completely agree. I thought during big portions of that game, I was thinking about this episode, and I was like, this episode is going to be insane. It's going to be just out of the window stuff. But then we got the winner. So now it's a calm episode, and I'm actually happy. So happy days.
It feels good. Miz, brother. Episode 184. I got it right this time.
Wow, man. 184. Wow.
Yeah.
Not out as well, if you're thinking about cricketing terms. 184 not out, man. We're playing a long innings here, man. We'll be there. We will be there. Look, for Younes, it's lunchtime. It's dinner time for me. So we're all over the world, which is fantastic. And when Matisse, you said, you know, all my brothers are shining, the first thing I looked at was Baba's head. That is shining real nice. That is shining beautifully. No, and I'm very, very elated. I know it wasn't the greatest performance all up, but sometimes you need to just bring out the 3 points like that, man. I'm so happy after that. I was shamelessly just happy and laughing and singing. I was like, yeah, man, really feel good about that 3 points. So it's a good feeling, man. Good feeling to do this episode now.
100%. Baba, brother, good to have you back. Missed you last week. How are you feeling, brother? How are you doing?
I'm good, bro. And I'm over the moon after the victory because this match we are losing last season. I'm not even kidding. Like, we've lost so many games like this one. As Miz said, don't really care about the performance. All that matters is 3 points. And you know, I'm quite hopeful about this season. We'll discuss that in some depth later on. But yeah, good vibes.
No, 100%. I mean, there's this game. The reason why I was so like, I was praying that I could do this episode as early as possible because I just got so much on my mind. I just want to discuss with this match. I feel like there's so much to get into, so many pros, but also cons. I felt like Maresca had to learn the hard way with that Disasi right side centre-back move, playing him out wide and with Tavernier. We all knew that was going to go badly. And if anything, it's nice sometimes, even though it was painful, it's nice to know that we might know what we're talking about as a fan base sometimes when we speak about football, you know? Because everybody agreed, the comments, everyone. And if he drops a masterclass, we're just like, yo, should we even be talking about this sport anymore? Because we clearly don't know what we're talking about. But he doesn't. It was an absolute clangor, him and Fofana at times, and it was stressful. But you know what? We started in a good way. We were smiling. I want to start with that Jadon Sancho impact off the bench, man. My goodness, was it sweet. So sweet. And Man United fans, they had won that day and they were still angry about it. You know, I saw Nuruddin and Saeed cussing and blinding on their review.
The head loss is incredible, bro. Like, oh my God, it's pure cinema. The head loss is pure.
It was beautiful. But first of all, did anybody expect that impact from him? Like, because it was a strange signing, wasn't it? I mean, I start with you, Younes. It was a strange signing. Was it a necessary need with all of the wingers we have? Probably not. But if he becomes the best one out on that left wing, then no one will have a problem with it. It's a decent price if we actually, well, it will be obligated in the summer. What did you make of it? Was you shocked?
I was a bit. In terms of the level that he brought, I was a bit surprised. I thought it'd take him some time to settle, like it'll take him some time to really blend in. And there was the question marks. I've said this previously. I'm like, you know, his performances at United, is it down to him or is it down to Ten Hag? Is it down to United? Well, I think so far, so good in terms of things in our favour. It's looking like it was all Ten Hag's fault so far. So happy days. But I wasn't expecting that because we've seen like the way that our players have operated and you know the levels that they've been at. He just looked like a different class. Just looked like he walked out of Real Madrid or something. Like, I don't know. He's done everything perfectly. So it was really, really refreshing to see that. And I know some people might say, yeah, it was against Bournemouth though, but look at the rest of the team, and then look at Sancho. It is just two different worlds. So if he can keep that up, absolutely, we've done ourselves an incredible deal. And I don't want to say it, but it's not looking good for Mudryk, is it?
It's
Simple
over.
as that.
Couple
It's
of good Sancho performances, and it's done for him.
Mate, and this is we'll talk about this later, I think, because there's another player to talk about too. But Sancho's performance immediately puts him in the starting 11 for the next game. It's not even a debate. So, Drogbaba, when you're writing up the team sheet, don't mess it up.
Noted.
Do you know, Miz? I mean, I don't disagree at all. I think he kind of has to start next game. I was so impressed. It was everything from the nutmeg, because the thing is, and I don't know if you had the same concern, but the way that we use our wingers, because he's not got blistering pace and he's not explosive, I was like, if he plays out wide and he's got no support and he's isolated, is he going to be able to handle that 1v1 that Maresca keeps talking about? Because he's not like Madueke where you can just leave him over there and he'll do whatever. He does need combination play and 1-2s. And we saw, but then for some reason, we make Cucurella become this Marcos Alonso type character, and it all just makes sense, bro.
Do you know what? It's mad. By the way, all this time there was no background noise with the planes, and now all the planes are landing and it's making some havoc noise. So hopefully your editor clean that up, man. It's disturbing for me because I can't concentrate with all the plane noise in the background. But anyway, do you know what? I've said it, and I'm pretty sure you've said the same thing as well, Matisse, that I didn't think this particular player was necessary for Chelsea Football Club. But I've said it all along. He's a highly talented player. Like, let's not make one thing, mistaken here. Like, a lot of Man United fans are trying to paint a picture. Oh, you guys will see this guy's rubbish. This guy, he's got attitude problem. This day doesn't train hard enough. And soon you'll see why, he struggled at Man United and so on and so forth. I've always maintained, I think there is a serious level of footballer here. Look at what he did for Dortmund. I know the numbers aren't there, but he was very impactful for Dortmund in the Champions League final run for them over there. And that was off the back of not playing for a long time for Man United, straight away going to Dortmund and doing the bits there. I'm surprised, but I actually had him in my preview to start. I think along with a lot of you guys probably felt that he might start.
I had Neto and then easing him in just because I didn't think he'd hit the ground running like that.
I had the other way around. I thought Neto played in the international break.
Okay.
Where we might be a little bit, looking after his health and well-being. Jadon Sancho's been at home, at Cobham, training hard. He might be getting a start here and showcasing that hunger and that desire to get back in, right? So I actually had him starting. No problems. Pedro Neto started. Obviously, he didn't play that well. But I was surprised as well when he came on. The level of quality he brought on, there was an instant switch. All of a sudden, you could see Bournemouth defenders now like, whoa. There's actually a threat now. Whereas in the first half, they felt, you can have all the ball. You're not threatening nothing. In fact, we're going to take the ball off you and we're going to try and, do something.
Yep.
Jadon Sancho comes on and straight away, he's so positive. He's looking to only pass forward. So many times in the first half, Madueke would get the ball, pass it back. Get the ball, pass it back. Yeah, and you'd think Madueke, brother, take the player on. Like, you're good at take him on, man. What are you doing? He'd pass it back. Jadon Sancho, if he couldn't take the player on, and he did take the player on a few times, when he couldn't, he was looking for quick link up. He was looking for players to make a run in behind so he could pass them. Yeah, and he would make a move. Pass, move. I think the stats at the end of the game, Jadon Sancho had one of the highest progressive passes out of everyone in that game, 17 or something. And that's half of the game, 45 minutes, and he was already the... So, look, if he carries on like this, and I hope he does carry on like this, we got ourselves a serious level player, and our obligation to buy is 25 million.
Facts.
We are going to make money out of this guy. Like, if this player blows up this season, and yes, I agree with Younes. I think Mudryk, brother, if you can't... Now the standard has been set. Exactly. If you can't put that level on a week-to-week, I'm sorry, then you can't start. You have to be a big part player. It has to be of that level and higher. Do you know what I mean? It cannot be anything less than that.
That's the That's the level. That's the level. And I think sometimes Chelsea fans have forgotten the level because we are operating in this nursery daycare type situation where we need to pick the kid up on time and we need to give them 3 meals a day. And, you know, brother, this is the level of performance for a left winger at Chelsea Football Club. What he did in that 45 minutes, the weight of pass, he set up Jackson, he set up Cucurella for a cutback, the nutmeg, the dribbling, the close control, the first touch, every weight of pass on point, key passes for fun.
On point.
That is what a Chelsea left winger is meant to be doing. So when anybody now comes into the team, like you just rightly said, whether it's Neto, whether it's Mudryk, whether it's Felix, whoever's playing that left wing, that's the standard. I feel like people forgot the standard.
They have.
I'm so glad he just reminded. Because before we were just, I don't know if you felt this way, Bubba, as well, but before with Mudryk, it was like, oh, bless him. Oh, you know, he'll get there. Don't worry about it. He did this one key pass and, you know, for the full game, let's make a comp out of it. Get a grip. That is the level from a left winger. And I didn't expect it to come so soon. But one thing I always said about this player is he's smooth. He's good on the ball. He knows how to pass. He knows how to link up. He's got a great weight of pass. When he was getting all those assists at Dortmund for Haaland, you know, on the right wing, that's how he did it, because he understands how to just play someone through. There was a moment where I think Palmer delayed a pass in behind, actually, and I think it was for Jackson. He ended up being offside. Just needed to just play it earlier. But, I mean, Bubba, for you, is he starting next week? I mean, it was serious performance, bro. Serious.
It has to, right? I mean, now, like, we know why Maresca or the board wanted Sancho, because they have lost faith in Sterling. They had lost faith in Sterling a long time ago. They had to send him Arsenal. Then Mudryk is not him. So we actually don't have someone who can play off the left. Felix is not your typically a winger, right?
Yep.
Your direct player who can, you know, provide you that explosiveness on the left-hand side. And like, just to like add one thing to the Mudryk point, rarely in the last 3 to 4 seasons I've seen a Chelsea player, you know, explode after a good performance, or like we say, okay, he needs that goal and the floodgates will open. He needs that one good performance and then he'll be on track. Either the player is good or he's bad. Like, I've rarely seen a player like if he scores a goal. Like, for example, for Mudryk, we were saying, okay, that equalizer against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup last minute and the way he confidently converted that penalty in the shootout was the moment that he'll be unlocked from the next game onwards and we'll see the best of him. And that Liverpool debut gave us a lot of hope. The player is there, like, we need to be patient and all of those things. See, I think he is a child, to be honest. No disrespect to him. The way he, you know, acts on social media, someone needs to take his phone away from him, I feel. He is too, I think he's too immature to be a part of the team who's trying to win serious stuff. If he is given personal coaching, if he is given individual time, then I still feel that we might end up having something good out of him. But we don't have that time now. We need to go after serious stuff. And Sancho provides us that. Sancho has a lot of negative PR because of his United stint. And sometimes you have to like look at the home, not the people living in it. Like, why does it happen all the time that the player starts to crib after he's joined Manchester United? Before that, everything was okay. Paul Pogba did not have a problem before joining Manchester United. Jadon Sancho did not have a problem before joining Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo, oh my God. Ten Hag will be remembered. Di Maria. Ten Hag will be remembered as the guy who kickstarted the Saudi Pro League. Not Ronaldo, Eric Ten Hag. He was the guy who pushed Ronaldo out. So, I mean, like, there are always two sides to the story. I'm not saying it's entirely Ten Hag's or Manchester United's fault. But it's sometimes the environment which is too toxic. And the fans are just not able to, you know, admit it that, okay, it's something wrong with the club. It's not the player always. And it's the situation. And the manager is also at fault sometimes. So, I feel in the correct circumstances, in the correct environment, the player will thrive. I just hope that it's not one of those players who need an arm around their shoulder always, the way it was with Lukaku. He needs to be loved. He needs to be shown respect. He needs to be made feel important. None of that bullshit now. You are at Chelsea Football Club. You will be given your chances. You will be selected on merit. Go out there, perform, and you will be loved. As simple as that.
Sorry, Younes. I just want to say on that point, Baba, I think we need to understand there may be certain players that may need that. Not every player operates in the same manner. Some are very mature. Some can work autonomously by themselves and perform. I do feel Maresca, what he said post-match, that he likes Jadon Sancho's skill set, but he also said he's a kind of player that needs to feel loved. So as a manager, Maresca's job is not to have one way of treating everyone, one rule for everyone. No, he needs to identify how each... It's a hard job. Like, don't get me wrong. Being a manager of a football club is not easy. You need to understand every individual. I do hope that he looks at Jadon and makes him feel... And look, there's nothing wrong in making a player feel like you're important. Like, if the player is seriously an important player for us, which, let's be honest, with the level of performance he put, and I get it, it's Bournemouth and it's just one match. But if we feel that if we can make Jadon feel loved and make him feel inclusive, make him feel important, that's only going to make him drop 9 out of 10s almost every game. No, why not do that? Let's do that. That's only beneficial for us.
I agree with that, but what I meant was, with being loved, you just need a sense of belonging, right? That you are wanted at the club. But you can't be given chances after chances if you're dropping stinkers regularly.
I agree.
That's what I meant with being loved. Like, I need to be loved, so I need to be shown confidence. No, bro. If you draw 5 stinkers in a row, there are 7 wingers, 8 wingers lined up who can take your place. We've got a player like Nkunku who can literally play anywhere across the 4 positions in the attack. Left, 10, right, and in the attack as well, as a number 9. People were saying that Jackson has that hold-up play, that physicality. Nkunku had that strength to shrug away that defender and, made space for him to finish that. And like... no disrespect to Jackson, I think he's a player, but he's not there yet. And if Mudryk and Jackson are playing, Mudryk is not making that pass and Jackson is not making that space for him to score that goal. As simple as that.
Can I just say real quick, we were just talking about this. The Chelsea app have literally just gone. He's a guy that needs love. Enzo Maresca on Chelsea attacker.
I just said that because this is a quote from Enzo yesterday, I think.
Yeah, so, said the Chelsea app have just dropped it.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Do you know what it is about these players is I get where Miz is coming from because we don't know what happens in their personal life, right? So some of them, their upbringing is maybe
got that as well.
Maybe like a Jude Bellingham where it's like you've got both your parents there. His mum seems to be quite strict, but in a good way because it's obviously produced 2 sons at the top level playing football, making it in their career. Maybe you can afford to be a bit more harsher on him because he's more, self-confident and he's got his shit together and his life is sorted. Sancho, no idea what happened under Ten Hag and why he had to kind of been sent away to the sidelines for so long to kind of get his head clear. But maybe something's happened, in his personal. And he's now a lot more fragile as a person, right? And he does need that comfort. And he does need that security or that kind of love, as Chelsea app put it. So listen, whatever gets the player playing, but obviously, like you said, Baba, you can't be dropping stinkers. And this is a player that technically there's no question. There shouldn't be a question. For me, you can't put Bundesliga tag on him. Obviously, people were questioning, can he play in the Prem because he hasn't got maybe the P&P, but in a City team, this is exactly the type of player. You can see he's come through the City Academy. You can see it. Joe Shields, he loves these Lavias. You can see when these players have come through the City Academy, if it says City Academy on their history, you can almost just tick the technical side. Just tick it because you know what you're getting in regards to that. They don't produce scrubs over there in regards to the technical. And yeah, it was just a great performance. The other player coming off the bench was Nkunku. I've got questions from the All You Can Eat Chelsea Discord chat, which I'm going to go to at the end of the show and reel off as well.
Nice.
But Nkunku coming on and scoring, and it was a very, very nice finish.
Beautiful.
I'm not one that wants to see him up front as a 9 because I don't think that's his best position. However, we got a lot of 10s. we don't have a lot of nines. He can finish with his feet and with his head as well, if given the opportunity. Miz, is this time now for Nkunku to start up front and at least we talk about more Nkunku as a striker as opposed to a 10, purely because when we're balancing out the depth chart, the 10 is sorted. Chukwuemeka's back now training. He's going to need minutes from somewhere in the 10, even if it's Conference League. So that even might, erode into Nkunku's minutes in the 10. What do you think? What do we do?
No, 100%, man. This is a particular scenario I kind of pondered about last season as well. I was sort of thinking, come next season, Nkunku potentially could have to play as an out-and-out striker or a false nine or whatever you want to put it out as. We've seen Nkunku this season in the preseason been tested out wide, tested as a 10, and never did it feel like comfortable. And every time he plays up front, he tends to put the ball away and score. Whether it's open play, I think he had one open play in the preseason earlier on, and then obviously he's good with the penalties as well, but that doesn't matter. We've got Cole Palmer. In this particular setup where you've got Sancho, where you've got Cole Palmer, where you might even have João Felix, you might have to do his part up front. And I think he might cherish that, I think he might actually enjoy that. With all these ballers around him, they can all interchange. They can all move around. And I think Nkunku loves operating with players that move. Pass, move. Pass, move. Don't just stay static there. Don't just pass and just stay there. Make a run so I have an option, right? So for me, Nkunku up front, look, one thing cannot be disputed at all. Nicholas Jackson, as good as he has been, and he's a developing player, he's got multiple flaws, Nicholas Jackson, right? Once again, against Bournemouth, when it comes to the final third, the man's not finishing things up. Baba's already mentioned, I've mentioned it in my watch-along that straight away when Nkunku scored that, I was celebrating, but straight away I said, do you know what? If Jackson was there, he's not scoring that,
Exactly.
He's getting bundled over. He's getting pushed over. The way Nkunku technically took the ball with his left, then brought it to his right, whilst shrugging the players, 2 players away from him, giving himself that clear space to allow his feet to do the thing. Jackson would have been tangled up in a pretzel, German, and we'd be screaming and we might have lost points. So I think it needs to, that is probably the best place for the time being with all the other personalities that we have, the other characters that we have. The other thing that I really liked about Nkunku, many people in this preseason, including myself, I was sort of saying, if Nkunku continues in that vein, that sort of lackluster vein, come next summer, he's going to get this Sterling treatment probably. Do you know what I mean? We're going to look at another player and this guy will need to be pushed out. The only way you can change that is you got to show the hunger and desire as soon as you get an opportunity. This is what I really like about Nkunku. This guy came on with what, like 10, 15 minutes to go, something like that?
Yeah.
And he was looking to impact. He was like, I need to get Bale Chelsea out of this. And I can see Jadon is trying really hard. I want to help him out and help Chelsea out get the winner. So I really liked that attitude from Nkunku that when that one chance fell, halas, he ate it up. So I love that. So I would start him 100% against West Ham as well.
It's the only thing with West Ham away is it's gonna. I mean, maybe it's a bit different now. I've not got to see too much of West Ham, but obviously under David,
we're away.
We're away.
We're away. Under David Moyes, it was always a tough away game for us. They're quite physical. Their centre backs were very physical. I don't know this season. Obviously, they're probably trying to change the way they play, so it's going to maybe be a bit different. But when do you think Nkunku has the capacity to play as a lone striker with physical and I'm talking about for full 90 minutes, especially when we're talking about this player not being the most durable? That's my biggest problem, my biggest question.
Yeah.
Can he play back to goal, big, strong centre backs, keep himself involved in the game, especially when he's not durable and he's got an injury-stricken past? Is that option really a long-term viable option for us, or is it something that we might get for a while and then he might break down and then we might be back to Jackson? That's almost why everybody says, look at the striker position is not solved and it's not sorted as to what it should be. If we had brought in a striker, then this Nkunku option just becomes a bonus and not necessarily us relying upon him. Remember how many games we have this season as well. So, Jackson could go to the Conference League, but I don't know. I have a tough time seeing that this is going to last more than a couple of weeks before something has to change, whether it's because it's not his best position or it's because he's unfortunately picked up something, a knock or whatever.
But you know what? You've illustrated it perfectly in terms of tough. This is our bed that we've made. Now we got to lie in it. We should have got a striker then, but we didn't. Yeah. So because we didn't, these are the cards we have, and these are the cards we have. And Nkunku starts. As simple as that. And you know what? In terms of his strength and all of that, I actually understand that, there's a risk that after a few games, maybe he gets injured. But again, we knew this. We should have got a striker then, but we didn't. So, okay, if that's what we got to run with, that's what we got to run with. One thing I'm sure, though, is when it comes to during a game, and this isn't the first time he's done this, Miz just said that he reckons that Jackson wouldn't have scored if it was Jackson in the same position. I agree. But look at the way that Nkunku got that goal. That he showed a lot of strength being able to take on in between two defenders in order to get himself in between and slot it into the bottom corner. Just like he did, if you remember, a similar goal against, was it Liverpool?
Liverpool. Consolation.
Liverpool.
Same story. Gets himself in between those pack of defenders and he's the one coming out on top. He is a physical guy and he doesn't look like the biggest guy, but he is a physical guy. It's just whether he can stay fit. If he can stay fit, it's not even a debate. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a debate. Because the way that I saw this game between Jackson and Nkunku only came on for 15 minutes, but the perception you get from these players are Jackson is the kind of guy where no matter what happens, you're always asking, is he going to do it? Is it going to happen? Is he? And then Nkunku comes on and he's literally like, hold my beer. Just hold my beer. Right? And literally 10 minutes, within that 10 minutes, and he's delivered what we've been waiting the entire game for Jackson to deliver, but he doesn't. Jackson, I'll give him one thing. And I heard Alan Shearer point this out in punditry, and I completely agreed. Jackson is picking the right runs to make. He's making right movements. He's doing all of that. I don't say he's doing wrong on that whatsoever. He just can't finish his dinner, man. The one thing he needs to do is put the ball in the net, and he doesn't. Or even when he does work the keeper, you look and you think, well, you could have gone a different route with that shot. Like there was a better option to go down. And Nkunku just doesn't need any of that, and he's not even meant to be the in and out striker. So when saying that, I'll take the risk. Going forward, we need someone up top that's going to give us a higher chance of getting goals. And Nkunku looks like he just knows what he's doing, even if he's not an in-and-out 9. And even if he might get injured, well, that's the consequence we got to prepare for. That's what we left ourselves with. So I go with Nkunku.
The only thing I'll add to the whole Nkunku debate here is that you do need to play a bit differently. What Matisse just said, is he the kind of striker that, when it's up against two defenders, in between the defenders, solid, can he do... Well, you're not going to hoof the ball to him. You're not going to go do route one and hope that he's going to win duels for you against big defenders. You're not going to whip in cross after cross that he's going to leap up and he's going to score headers, right? You do need to change the game in the sense the way we scored that goal against Bournemouth, where close proximity. Jadon Sancho, Nkunku, Cole Palmer, João Felix, all close, very, very close to each other. What that does is you allow for quick pass and move in any direction. So you do need to have a different style or approach to getting the opposition. You can't be playing, say for instance, if we had Osimhen, you can sometimes go route one. Look at Edison, for instance, that goal for Erling Haaland. That is mad. But Edison knows if there is an opportunity where the opposition is high and we can isolate Hairline 1v1 with a defender, he can take that route one, and he knows his man up there will win that. We can't hope that for Nkunku. Most times he may not win, 1v1 situation. What he did against Bournemouth, cleared out two players. That's fine. It's inside the box, close proximity.
And they don't want to give away a penalty.
Exactly. But you can't expect that of him Hairline, and he's shrugging a defender off like
He's
what
not got
Haaland did.
that Didier Drogba build. Do you know what I mean? Where you can say,
does Jackson?
No, he doesn't.
Jackson
There was an
No,
instance.
he doesn't.
There was two
But you know what,
instances.
Younes? He should though. He should.
He's too young, but he's got to fill out.
But he
That's the
doesn't,
thing.
exactly.
Even Drogba,
But he
when he
doesn't.
was in his early days, he had to build that. When it comes to Jackson, even Jackson and Felix, I think there was two opportunities where both of them were just kind of shrugged off the ball in terms of
Felix
shoulder to shoulder.
bumped off.
They both could have had shooting opportunities, but they're just not strong enough. And some of these chances, like you just said with Haaland, having that strength to just go shoulder to shoulder is actually part of the chance creation. It's actually part of the It's not the dribbling. It's not the ability to have an incredible first touch from. It's actually just the shoulder to shoulder.
It's a different option.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Now people in the comments will be like, "Oh, that sounds like Lukaku."
I was going to say. Some would say.
Bro, he's killing it at Napoli again, bro. He's absolutely.
Younes, I knew what you were going to cook up. Don't even think about it. They're top of the league. He scored again. I don't want to hear this guy anymore. It's over. Conte's probably going to win the league now.
I might start watching Napoli, man.
It's such a Conte thing to
doing
do.
a madness as well.
Conte's going to win the league. I can tell. It's such a Conte thing to go and do. He needs his rep fixed back as well after what happened at Tottenham. Another substitute that we got to talk about that came on, not as glamorous, but Tosin.
He looked good.
Yeah, when
problem with our defense is a lot of individual mistakes. It's not necessarily we defend bad. Like if you look at Bournemouth's chances, most of them were outside or from the edge of the box. So it means that we conceded low quality shots, right? The 1.24 XG of Bournemouth is down to them accumulating 0.66 of XG from that penalty. So out of 1.24, 0.6 is your penalty XG. But how did that penalty came about? Individual mistake from Fofana, threw Sanchez under the bus. And so many times we've given away cheap possession. Same thing happened against Wolves in that first half. Second half, when we were accurate with the passes, and started to string 2-3 passes together. It was symphony in motion. Tosin comes in, Disasi is sent to the bench, Fofana plays on the right, and suddenly you can see that there are no more mistakes from the distribution from the back. Sancho and Cucurella are combining. Because of the individual mistakes and Neto being invisible in the first half, Cucurella was not able to do his thing. He exploded in the second half. So all of these things are interrelated. It's a chain. And even one link in the chain, if it's broken, the entire system collapses. So I feel we were ineffective in attack because we were committing so many mistakes in the midfield. It was not because we were lacking control in the midfield. We were giving away possession so easily that it allowed Bournemouth to come over us and run us over with their pacey wingers. Tavernier was having a ball against Disasi. He turned him inside out. So these are the things that the players need to prove themselves. Like Fofana, he's not in the Europa League squad.
Conference.
I make the same mistake. I keep saying European.
European Conference League. So you can always fix it.
I cannot get myself to say Conference League, man. Come on, it's very difficult for me to say Conference League. Europa Conference League, okay?
Yeah.
So UEFA Europa Conference League. So Fofana needs to pull his socks up, man. Like he cannot, keep committing these mistakes.
Right.
There was a time that he was rated higher than Saliba when they were playing in the youth system together. So those days are gone now. You are in the serious business right now. Cannot make back passes to Evan Nielsen and expect, we'll look past that. If it hadn't been for Sanchez, and kudos to Sanchez, I've been very critical of him. I have absolutely nothing to say bad about him this time round. If he continues this, then we have to admit, he is a good keeper. But if it hadn't been for Sanchez, we would have lost that game, I'm pretty sure. Because at that point of time, if Bournemouth score a goal, I don't think so we are coming back in the game. It's down to the individual mistakes. And again, the selection on merit. Tosin should be given more minutes in my opinion.
I think even though I'm happy Sancho got man of the match, I think Sanchez deserved it. Sanchez, I would have given man of the match.
Yeah,
he was
100%.
He was brilliant, man. Saving it onto the post, I believe.
15-pointer in FPL, bro. He had a 15-pointer in the FPL.
Oh, yeah,
15
save. Penalty save, obviously.
Oh, of course,
He's
penalty
a mad
save,
fun.
5 saves, clean sheet. And that too, despite being yellow carded, like he had a yellow card, right? So
but
despite that, he had a
everyone got
15
yellow carded. We got yellow carded as well, so it's fine.
My mum and dad got yellow
We got yellow
carded.
carded. Watch that. We're gonna talk about that.
I
man,
just
in a minute.
received mail this morning. There was a yellow card in that. Yeah, because I'm in India, so it took like 2 days.
Yeah. But you got it in the post. Yeah.
You never know. Maybe a red one's coming. Yeah, you got 2 yellows. Just quickly on that Tosin, I just want to say one thing. Look, we have seen Tosin stuff up as well, so we're not going to sit here and just act like this guy is going to be a game changer for us. It was a very good performance. Don't get me wrong, but absolutely really good performance, and it was the right change that Maresca made. The one thing I really like about Maresca is there's a mistake that's happening, he makes a change to rectify that.
Straight away.
A lot of managers don't do that.
I did want it at half time, but he did it in the end.
I think this
Pedro Neto
5 substitution rule will help us the most, I feel.
Yeah, so he's a manager that seems to rectify his mistakes. Obviously, get to the point where you don't make mistakes. That would be the best thing. But at least he knows to change it. In regards to defense, I think we really need to analyze what's people's strengths here. Maresca needs to sit down and figure out, because he plays with Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwill predominantly this season, and then this particular match he split them and he put Tosin in the middle in the second half. So he has to come up with a solution that, okay, Desasi on the right side, Binda.
Kalas.
That's Kalas. That's gone. So if you don't have Gusto or Reece James available, which might be again the same case against West Ham, you need to come up with a different plan. And the plan might be 3 at the back with Wesley Fofana as the RCB. Now, Wesley Fofana in the 2 CB setup, it seems like, yes, he's got the pace. Yes, he's got the ability to recover at times. But he seems a bit out of sort when it's just the 2. He doesn't seem to navigate well enough. Whereas him on the RCB spot, far more comfortable. It's almost as if when he's been given the ball playing, responsibility through the center, he's not too comfortable in doing that, which is strange. You'd think Wesley Fofana should be comfortable with the ball, but maybe a lot of the matches that he's missed over the past few seasons, he needs the confidence back. But on the right side, it's almost as if there's only a few options to pass. So he's not too clouded in his head what he needs to do. It's either hit it out wide to the winger or just a bit internally to the midfielder. You're not looking for some really cutting edge. Whereas when you're in the middle,
it's high risk.
Bro, you got to be a midfield type of a player, right?
David Luiz.
I think Tosin is far more comfortable in the middle as opposed to anywhere in the wide. Tosin, when he's in the wide areas, is like how Wesley Fofana is in central areas. So these are the little nuances that Maresca needs to figure out which player works where. I think Levi Colwill is starting to slowly solidify his game on that left side, or whether it be in the central position. Yeah. So I think Levi Colwill is slowly coming about.
He had a good game, I think.
He had a good game. He really did have a good game. I think mistake-free game. But we do need to figure out what we need to do elsewhere in the defense, because I don't think it's completely... Look, I'd still continue with Fofana and Levi Colwill so that the chemistry continues.
Yeah. But if we have to go to a 3... But then, so this is the thing. If Reece James is available, he's the perfect person for that RCB spot. Perfect person, right? Yeah. But then also, there's another kid called Achimpong, who is highly spoken about and has played that RCB position before as well. And then I'm also looking at Tyreek George getting a hat-trick in the under-21s and thinking if there's anybody who gets the left-wing Conference League minutes, it'd be maybe him over Mudryk. It's going to be very interesting to see if this manager starts to put these players that have been signed under these directors, like the Disassis, like the Mudryks, who, let's be honest, they don't suit our style. Mudryk doesn't suit a possession-based football style. And Disassi doesn't suit a possession-based football style, even with a high line at times as well, where you're trying to be compact up the pitch because he's too slow. There was times where it was almost like he was disconnected from the Wi-Fi. He had no signal. He was like, oh, I thought you were going to get it. And then Travis is just sprinting past him. I'm like, bro,
buffering. I could not believe
it. He's buffering. He's lagging. He's actually glitching on the pitch. I'm watching it in 4K. So
200 ping.
The the best thing this club can do right now is not be stubborn over the mistakes it's made over signings. I'm not talking about your easy cast-offs, your Lukaku's, your Kepas, your Sterlings, I'm talking about the players that you brought in under this regime with these directors. Don't be stubborn about moving some of them on, because it's I'm not even saying Disasi's a bad player. I think if you put Disasi in a low block with a little bit more of a Stoke City, David Moyes, West Ham vibe about it, I think he'll smash it. He'll smash it. But here, with this team, with what we require, he's dodge. So dodge. Yeah. Like, he was sending, he was sending like the shits down the spine of the team. He was, I couldn't even focus on the attack anymore, because I was like, this defense is it's causing me so much concern and so much worry. I can only imagine how much nerves it's sending through the team, because every single time they had the ball, they just looked like they couldn't handle it. So they was treating it like a hot potato over there. So both of them, Fofana as well, giving the ball away, like you said, putting Sanchez in hot water. But I find it mad that one of the worst defensive displays from certain individuals somehow leads to us getting a clean sheet. But in other games,
after how many games goals. We kept a clean sheet? I think it was after 15, 16
time
years.
Since 2022, I think, or
I can't remember when we kept a clean sheet in an away game, especially.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
That was apparently our first win in Bournemouth since 2017. Is that right?
No,
I thought we had a good.
No,
that can't be right.
At Bournemouth.
We've won at Bournemouth lately.
We must have won at Bournemouth before that.
No, we haven't won there since 2017.
We won at Bournemouth in that fuck all season, like the 2 seasons ago when we finished
the Potter season.
The 12th.
When we went there with Felix. Felix scored. They were running highlights about this. Remember, Felix scored.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, in the season that we had won in the season that never happened.
That season, and nobody remembers it because it was the most irrelevant season of our lives. But that we did do. we did do something there in that season.
I do want to add real quick, right? Because we're talking about the defense. I feel like it has to be mentioned that I'm not protecting the defense here, but I think it plays a part. Our midfield doesn't help much defensively, and that's always going to play a part with how bad the defense can be because of how exposed they are. You guys can hear me, right? Oh yeah, cool. The screen froze real quick, but defensively, I feel like our midfielders are not so, they don't reinforce enough. There needs to be work done there too. Because as much as the defense is not great, it doesn't help when they have added pressure and they're taking on maybe a little bit more than they should. So not to protect them, because I feel like there's big issues there, but the midfield also needs to do its role. I feel like that needs to be made clear.
No, I agree, man. The midfield, if you notice, Younes, in the first half, Renato Vega, I think one thing can be said is that this guy's not the most quickest player in midfield. He's not going to be moving around blistering pace. However, in the second half, when tactically we switched things up a little bit, where he was a little bit more deeper and closer to the CBs, it was clear to see Vega in terms of his physical presence. He was stopping everyone. No one was going through him anymore. So just like the nuances of defenders, what combination fits, who's got what strengths and what flaws. Similarly with the midfield as well. What combination works really? Who needs to play where? This whole thing about Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo, we're trying our level best to make it work. Maybe it can work, but the roles need to be defined. Who needs to do what? Because sometimes it's all too open and the opposition's just running amok.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So, what's the balance? No one's even talking about Keenan Dewsbury Hall. This guy was one of our latest players. Do you know what I mean? So, what is the right balance? Romeo Lavia has gone missing again.
And you have to factor in, like, we might get a striker. Might get another striker.
Yeah.
Number 9. So,
it's one of those ones where, what would you guys talking about midfield? What balance it sounded like?
The defensive frailties in the midfield as well, because it doesn't help the defense if the midfield's not protecting them as well. So that's a factor.
Yeah, I mean, I think this midfield balance is going to be off unfortunately, for a long time. I think it's strange that multiple managers are coming in here and still talking about Enzo Fernandez's position and how it's not really aligning with what they needed to align with. And it tells me that either we've not recruited the next the right holding midfielder next to him, or his profile is a little bit more narrowed down than it should be for a midfielder in the Premier League, in regards to he's not able to do that box to box role. Maybe he doesn't have the stomach for it, or the lungs for it. But at the same time as well, you can't neglect the physicality of the league. You can't neglect having someone that is more of a destroyer in your midfield, that is still good technically, but does actually break things up. And we don't seem to have that. So now we're kind of trying to piece things together. And the one person that we had that could have been an enforcer is Okuchukwu, and he's at Southampton. You know, and then Santos is quite actually mobile and very box to box, but we've sent him away as well. So those two midfielders, along with maybe a Caicedo, and obviously we'll see if Lavia can keep himself fit, they're probably more Premier League molded right now than an Enzo. I still think like an Enzo easily plays for, if he plays to the level I think he can, plays for like a Real Madrid. If he plays at that level, I think he can. But
that's the thing, Matisse. That's the funny part. Like, we clearly missed Enzo in the midfield in the last game, because there was no one to, you know, find those players when we were under pressure, we were being overrun. So what Enzo brings to the team, I think it was answered in the last game. There was no Enzo to switch wings, to create passes. Actually, the thing is, with Enzo, the price tag is there, and he is expected to produce a 9 on 10 every match. And if he misplaces passes, if he's trying to make those line-breaking passes and ends up giving the ball away, then the question starts to arise that, oh, if he's good enough to play for Chelsea, or if Chelsea are playing him in the right position. I think he needs to be given time, and Maresca will find solutions. I believe in it.
I actually have a different spin on Enzo Fernandez's issues. I actually have no issues around his ball-playing ability. Even though that can improve, no problems. I've got no issues around that. Him mistiming passes, that's going to happen. I've actually got issues where Enzo Maresca now, nearly 2 matches in a row, against Crystal Palace as well, and now against Bournemouth, he kept on harping on about, this is what I really like about Enzo Maresca. This guy actually comes out and says it how it is, what he saw. Against Bournemouth, one of the things that he said, that in the first half, he did not like it one bit. Players were not winning duels, and we were not winning the second ball. This is the concern with Enzo Fernandez. It's not the ball-playing ability. No. It's the ability off the ball.
I agree.
You need to get stuck in and win duels. I'm sorry. This is the Premier League. The oppositions are ruthless. They will hone in on you. And you need to be able to show the eagerness to win duels. Right? You need to show the eagerness. When the ball's bouncing around, you got to be there first to win the second ball. You have to. These are the small things that is actually causing a bit of an issue for us. People keep thinking about, you know, a lot of people have been saying this. Pep Guardiola has made everyone started to think that it's all about tiki-taka. It's all about tiki-taka. No, it's not. There are other fundamentals of the game that still belongs massively. And we don't do that. We are going to be screwed. One of our biggest
City
issues
execute it themselves. Even City do it.
Exactly.
This is the thing every week.
This is the thing, Younes. City's got everyone thinking it's all about tiki-taka, but City themselves win so many duels, win so many of the second balls in midfield. They're so ruthless. Look at Kovacic over there now.
Yeah.
The brother dropped a masterclass against us. He was winning everything. Duels, second ball, mopping things up in midfield, right? That's the level Enzo. I've got no doubt as well. Enzo Fernandez goes to Real Madrid or Man City, he becomes a different type of a player. This is where I think Enzo Maresca really needs to hone in on what Younes, you just touch base, that midfield. Everyone needs to have a defined role. As soon as you lose the ball, what you got to do? Right. What is your role off the ball?
That's where the inverted fullback becomes very crucial. Like that position becomes very crucial. Like who inverts, who provides you that extra man in the midfield to do that work for Enzo in case he's not able to do that.
No one's, this is the thing, Baba. This is what I'm trying to say. No one's going to do the work for Enzo. there'll be certain times where he will be backed up, he will be protected. But when you are there, when Moses Caicedo and Enzo are there in midfield, and the opposition is dribbling past like Kovacic did against us, he literally he brushed aside Enzo like he didn't even belong. He brushed aside Caicedo like, brother, go back to Brighton. That's what I'm concerned about. Yes, when Enzo is out of position and he gets beaten and he doesn't have the recovery pace, that's a different, that's an attribute issue, right? You don't have that. I'm talking about when you're face to face, bro, you can't let players go straight through you. And we've seen Enzo Fernandez do that quite a few times where players just go straight through him. He needs to, bro, you're Argentinian. You need to have that dog in you. You can't let players go straight through you. No way.
No, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't question whether Enzo has that dog in him, right? I don't. I actually think physically, he's just not at the level. He's just not. Whether it's the size or the strength, but he's just not like. We're talking about this balance, and Caicedo, I think, is a victim of it too. And they can only use the attributes that they have. I feel like the balance that we're talking about that we don't quite find with them is where it would probably be there if we had a modern day version of Essien lying alongside either one of them. I think it would bring much more balance compared to just those two together because of that
Romeo Lavia, Romeo Lavia, when he plays, you can see the difference.
But even he is not. Even he's not an enforcer. Do you know what I mean? Like
exactly,
he's just the one that we're hoping.
He's the closest to it.
Yeah,
he's
nowhere near in regards to the others that we've mentioned. Nowhere near. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's annoying because it's when you rate all of them individually, but collectively you start to question: is this going to make sense? Is this going to work?
Yeah,
that's what really pains me because
we spend on this midfield.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to spend. Yeah,
but this is the thing: squad building, guys. I hope our sporting directors. You look at all the players that we've talked about, right? Christopher Nkunku, we just talked about. This is apparently a player that our scouting team has scouted for a long time, to the point where we are in a situation where, where does Nkunku play? How are you scouting a player for years and years to come to a situation? What's his best position now? Jadon Sancho. No one can tell me we planned for Jadon Sancho. No one.
No chance.
It was an opportunistic situation. We saw that this is a great scenario. Player that's out of, touch with that club. We can buy him and potentially make some money out of him. João Felix, please. Everyone knows we were going for Samuel Mortión, right? So going back to the point, squad building is important. Our sporting directors, please. Next transfer window, whatever you do, buy players with intent that this guy is going to solve this problem. We're bringing in this guy to solve this problem. Don't be bringing in players that it's another one of those potential that we are hoping to turn into a 50, 60 million player down the track and we make some. No, bring in players with real intent. This is what Arsenal's doing now. Bringing players to fill an absolute void.
I agree, right? The message of the core of the message you've given, I agree completely. But even recently, I think everyone's understood exactly what the role of these sporting directors are, right? It's been made clear why they're here and what they're doing. Yeah, they're puppets to Iqbali. Well, that's now been made clear. We all know that now. It's public news, right? But I agree. In its essence, the sporting director, there shouldn't be two, there should be one, should be able to plan the building of the squad efficiently and do exactly as you said. I don't expect it to come from these two bozos though, because like I said, we already know what the role of these two are. So it's a bit of a dead end as far as I see it, unfortunately.
Listen, we have to hope. All we can do right now is hope. I mean, somebody's signings are Christopher Vavell, somebody's signings are Stewart's and when Stanley, somebody's signings are Joe Shields, and somebody's signings got over the line with Iqbali. And I mean, it would be an incredible episode to just split up whose responsibility is whose, but it's also like almost impossible to know whose is actually whose as well. Completely. Especially with the way this club briefs. I've got some Discord questions to end as well. I'm going to just read out the ones that I know we haven't covered, because I know some of them we've kind of naturally covered in the episode, to those guys in the Discord chat. Frankie said, who would you and the panel prefer as a second choice left back? Would it be Renato or would it be Chilwell?
Yeah.
Obviously, Chilwell's back now.
Right now, Renato.
So what was the question again? Like where? Premier League
Second
or
choice.
Just in general, second choice. If Cucurella was to get injured, who would you bring in?
Yeah. Renato or
Renato
Chilwell?
Vega?
Yeah.
I think
Renato,
the question is a little bit vague right now, because Chilwell, you don't know what his future is and how motivated he would be to play for Chelsea, right? Because he knows his time is at an end, and like he is being treated in a way that he should not have been treated, in my opinion. I was comfortable with Chilwell leaving, to be honest. We had this conversation before here at All You Can Eat. My patience has run out with him. But the way he is being treated is not good. And kudos to him that he's being professional about it, because we've not heard anything from him on the social media. On the contrary, he's been quite supportive of the new guys who have come in, and he's only got good things to say about Chelsea. So kudos to him on that front. But right now, if he was to take a challenge and he was like, look, I've been here, I've won the Champions League, I was the best left back that season, best left wing back. Give me a chance to prove that I can be that player again post-injury. And if he was to perform well, then I've got no problems. But again, the question is, will he be given enough chances and will he be motivated? Like, for example, Chalobah was out of the picture, but we had all our centre-backs injured. So he came in last season, last 6-7 games, and he played brilliantly alongside and I don't know, Colville also was injured. Who was the other centre-back? I think it was Badia Shil or Disasi, yeah. So I think Chalobah was there alongside him. So if that was the case, but still I feel that owners have made their mind. He will be moved on. If not in January, 100% in the summer transfer. So that's
why I'd probably just go Renato. The manager's already said he's not part of the plans. The worst thing you could do now, after being ruthless and being transparent or being whatever, even if it's partly a mouthpiece for the board, is to now flip-flop and bring him back into the team and because then what do your words mean? So for me, you've said he's not part of your plans. You said from a tactical perspective, you don't see a way for him in the team. So then leave him as the third choice and don't use him unless you have to. Let him train, and then you try and sell him again or move him on in January. If you now go back on that and start reintegrating him and using him, next time you say that you need to banish someone, even though it's not the nicest thing to do, no one's going to take you seriously. We kind of did speak about Mo Nkunku as a free roam striker, so I'm going to move on from that, but you've definitely now got your answer on that one. A lot of people asking, where is Nkunku going to play? IBK as well. Obviously, he's going to have to play up front. Who should start, Sancho or Neto? I think we kind of covered that. It should really be Sancho against West Ham based on the performance. CJ6 saying Jackson needs a stint riding the bench. He's been getting to start even when he performs badly. Nkunku is starting striker. Did we miss Enzo? Could we be wrong about Sanchez? We did say about Enzo, but what about Sanchez? I feel like it's too early for me to say we're wrong about Sanchez. He had a great performance.
Yeah.
But again, what is Chelsea level? World-class goalkeeper.
Consistency.
Saves you 10 to 12 points a season. Can win you titles. Do I think Sanchez can do that? No, he can't. Is he young? Is he developing? No, he's not. So I think that answers the question. I don't know if anybody else feels like they want to retract.
Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key, bro. We've seen these new players come and drop one or two good performances and we are like, okay, there's a player in this player. Like, for example, Axel Disasi put on a beast of a performance against Man City away last season when we drew 1-1. I was so happy to see him play like that, but they are not able to sustain the same levels in the next 5-10. Like, if you are having a stinker in one game and 10-15 games you are playing consistently, I can understand. But you play 2 games at a level in which we think, oh, he's the next Thibaut Courtois or he's the next Peter Cech, and then again he's giving the ball away. The next thing you know, against West Ham, he's giving the ball away to Jared Bowen, 1-0, to West Ham. So
100%. No,
he
I
needs
agree
to
with you.
perform
I agree with you.
consistent.
We don't want to. We can't go from 1 week to the next with some of these players, especially when we've seen large sample sizes of them. I'm going to go one more question because my PC is stressing me out. It did cut out there my internet for no reason, but that's why we're getting it fixed, people. Let's see. Let me pick out something that kind of isn't already what we've spoken about. We've kind of covered a lot of these. A lot of them is about Nkunku. There was one suggestion from Kane to say, question, is there a chance that maybe Palmer could play back on the right side and Nkunku could maybe play in the 10? And then Jackson stays up front, but...
No, I entertained this briefly in my review because we saw Felix come on and Nkunku went up top and Matisse is gone.
I'm still here, don't worry. Just about.
And we've got Sancho on that left. And it dawned on me that if, like, Madueke had a stinker against Bournemouth, let's just call it back a buck. But if Palmer does shift back onto that right-hand side, and it could be a case where him and Madueke rotate on that right-hand side, you know, whilst Palmer maybe becomes more central when Madueke is playing. But we could have a situation where you have Sanchez, Felix, Palmer, and Nkunku up top. And all three behind Nkunku can actually interchange. When you look at all these three players, they can actually play in all three roles. So that could be an interesting dynamic. That's something that popped into my head. So I wouldn't be against seeing Palmer back on the right sometimes, not all the time, sometimes.
I would like to see, I want to put it once again a different spin. I wouldn't mind seeing Pedro Neto on the right sometimes. I think he could be far more explosive on that right side, and with his left cutting in and linking up and being able to hit the byline as well. He can pretty much deliver with both his foot. I think his weak foot is pretty good. If I remember when he was playing for Wolves as well. So I wouldn't mind a situation where it's Sancho on the left, Nkunku up front, Cole Palmer more centrally and being the orchestrator, because I think he's got the know-how and the footballing IQ to do that, and then Pedro Neto on that right side where he can be very explosive with his pace. That would be a nice scenario to see, but then again, you know, where's João Felix going to be? So it's a good headache. There's a lot of players, but there's no room for complacency anymore. That's the thing. That is the message that Maresca has drilled in as well. He's once again said it in press conference. If you think you have a name and you're not going to work hard, you're not going to play for me. It doesn't matter. So every player needs to be dropping performances every game. When you're being called from the bench, you got to be ready to perform. If you don't, same thing that happened to Sterling is probably going to happen to you next summer. You might be the next one. All of a sudden, you need to find a club, and you're now struggling to find a club. So, yeah, man. It's a lot of different combinations that we can have, and it's a long season, many different competitions that we're involved in. So, yeah, it's great. It's good headache.
100%. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up there. All sorts of madness going on over here. Amazon are banging down my door. My PC's moving mad. Just life. So, yeah, guys, we're going to wrap up. But that was a great episode, especially off the back of a win. No drama this week. Chelsea, please, could you leave us alone kindly? No drama. What are the odds, guys, that there'll be drama this week? Or will we get a nice week? We can just wait until the West Ham game.
No way, no chance, Matisse. What do you think, bro? I will be surprised if we don't hear anything about ownership today. I will be so surprised.
I'll give it about 3 hours.
It's a ticking time bomb, bro. You never know.
Yeah,
something will. There you are, guys. Make sure you subscribe. The other side of the coin, Miz's channel, daily uploads, sometimes twice a day. You know, daily,
I try.
Daily uploads. Yeah, so make sure you go and subscribe there. What is the road to now, brother? What's the next milestone for you?
Very close to 40, bro. Just 4,000 away, so close to 40, and that'd be nice. Yeah,
amazing. There you go, guys. Go make it happen. Younes, bottom right there. Well, whatever way it's laid out, but make sure you go subscribe. Uploads every day, consistent as heck for years on years on years. Next milestone, I believe, 200k? Madness.
200, yeah.
My goodness gracious. big numbers out here. And Bubba, make sure you guys subscribe to him as well. Regular content. He's doing lives, he's doing vids. And what's the next milestone for you, brother? What where are we going
presenter
next?
these days, bro. He's a presenter.
I can't keep count.
300 is done, I think. Next, my 350.
350. There we go.
This guy's going to go to a mill. He's going to go to a mill. He will.
Oh, there you go, guys. Big up, much appreciated. Again, like I said, show will keep elevating. There'll be more stuff coming, but yeah, we wanted to get this one done nice and early in the week, as soon as the Bournemouth game really was over. But that intro will be coming to you for the next one as well. I'm looking forward to dropping that with this new format. So yeah, big up your damn selves, guys. Make sure you smash up the likes. I'll see you guys next time in a bit, people. Peace.